and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Now let's move on to our next segment of the day. Daniel, you got a story for the people. What is going on?
Right. Yeah, I have a story. So this is a story, a very sad story, but I also think a very poignant story about the
I read this
absurdity.
Too, and I'm very angry.
Yeah, you'll have some words to say then too. So remember how we used to be in Afghanistan for basically my entire life almost?
21 years almost? 20
yeah,
years,
I mean, we could buy it a beer. You know, it's crazy to think the elevator was inspected further back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So you all know, inside baseball, we have an elevator here at the studio. We don't own the building, but the elevator here, it was last inspected in 2001. So
right before we invaded.
Yeah.
It is a side note. Anyway.
Just side note.
You know how, we had that really orderly withdrawal that and we got everyone out that we needed to get out? The people that put their lives on the line to help the Allied forces. They all got taken care of like they were supposed to. Well, this is a story of one of the thousands of people who obviously didn't have that outcome because, what's an organization? Just run away like Vietnam. It's so crazy that we ran away like Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So, let's see. At least 6 translators who worked for the British Army in Afghanistan and were left behind during the chaotic evacuation last summer have taken legal action against the UK government. Because that makes you public. So it's like their life is so bad, they're like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. We'll do it. Sky News has learned. Their solicitor has described the processing system as appalling after 4 of the 6 were rejected, then given approval to come to the UK after legal papers were lodged. I love that. It's like everything in America. It's like, yeah, F you. We're not going to do anything. Oh, you're suing us? No, you're right. Come on, please drop the suit. So, one of the men who we are not naming to protect his identity says he feels stranded in Afghanistan. Yeah, you might be. If, I don't know, some of the greatest superpowers in the world said, hey, if you support us, we know you're putting you and your family in harm's way, we will get you out. Psych! And he is among 750 Afghans who have been accepted to come to the UK but are still thought to be stuck in the country. The man failed to get on an evacuation flight with his family last August. He's, super orderly. After his relocation application under ARAP, Afghan Relocations and Assistance Policy Scheme, was rejected, he lodged a legal challenge. His application was approved because he sued. And in May, he was told to wait instructions on how to leave Afghanistan, being a third country, which he is still waiting for. So, just a reminder to everyone, we still abandoned a huge amount of people that we said we would never abandon. People that were the first targets after the government took over. People that we completely abandoned. Mm-hmm. People that... And it's like, what does it take? You have to get a lawyer to sue them months after the fact and just not die. Because, there's no, hey, you helped us out. We have all the evidence. We'll put you in even if they want to be cautious, hey, we'll put you in Jordan in a special camp while we finish out these. Because on the off chance that you have worked with us and all the 50 people that worked with you are not lying, we probably want to be safe and secure about this. But no, Britain's like,
okay, so here's something I'm finding, and this story got me really angry. The viewing audience, in case you don't know, I served 2 tours in Iraq, and I'm proud to say everyone in my unit, both times, we came home alive and well in one piece. But during our times overseas in Iraq, we were always attached with us, Iraqi translators.
Yes.
And a lot of them were promised, safe passage to the United States or Canada or Europe. And even a lot of the members of the Iraqi army, occasionally here and there, especially on my second tour, oh my God, when we did this one patrol, we linked up with this one unit, Iraqi unit, National Guard unit that was patrolling. There was at least, to my best recollection, there was at least five or six of them that came up to us asking us for a visa to sponsor them to get out. they wanted out, right?
And you were like, sure, psych.
Yeah, and well, the thing is, I didn't have the authority to really do that because I was in no position to help out anyone. But the thing is, with a lot of the Iraqi translators, they were guaranteed that. And it was a couple of years later that a lot of these guys some of them were denied the chance to come to America or go to Canada or so much more. And the thing is, a lot of them risked their lives to come here. And even then, like, especially some of the women translators too, for those who were working in the green zone, you know, the men and women going into the green zone, a lot of them were at risk, and their families were at risk of being assaulted or worse. Shame on what the UK has done to a lot of those translators. And also comparing with how the United States even got out of Afghanistan, we left a lot of people behind. It was a complete disaster. People got hurt. I mean, how can we even forget some of the footage of some of the planes taking off? And you have some of these frightened Afghanistan civilians hanging on to the plane, and we're seeing video footage of them even falling off the plane because the plane goes into a ridiculous amount of heights.
Yeah. And it's like, again, it's like we knew when we had to get out of Afghanistan, and we did nothing to prepare for it. And if there was someone that had to prepare, it would have been Biden. Again, it's like, I still have such an issue with like the hardcore Democrats who argue things that they don't actually support.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Biden's fault or responsibility for the thing that happened that he had forewarning when that Trump did. It's not his fault. It's Trump's fault entirely, 100% for something that was supposed to be finished under him.
No,
people are stupid.
I'm not going to even say that it's Trump's fault. Like, Trump's a buffoon. Yes, he is responsible. But then, hey, I could also counter. Well, who did Trump inherit this from? Oh yeah, a guy who was in office for 8 years, named Barack Obama.
Fault. It's not just the people you don't like.
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem with politics in America. Is it's not a sport. People's lives are at stake.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just soda.
Oh, and wait, even then, if we look even further, you could also blame Biden, Trump. You could also blame Obama too. But let's look at the architects who made it. Bush and Cheney.
And then you can go further back and blame the CIA, who got them all organized, the Mujahideen organized in the first place during the Cold War when the Russians were invading Afghanistan.
And that was under Reagan.
If we had not intervened in Afghanistan, they would have never happened.
Yeah. So there we go. Starts from Reagan, goes to Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, Bush Jr., Barack Obama, Trump, Biden, and then whoever else will fill in the seat in the White House.
Yeah, and it's also the story of Afghanistan's history is being invaded by very powerful countries and eventually kicking them out right before they collapse. Oof.
So, hey, who knows? History might repeat itself. So as a final note, UK, you're full of shit. The UK government's being full of shit for doing this. People there.